Nickelodeon, I have an idea. Hi everyone, it's me, Gaming Do, and welcome to the 5th annual Loud House Month episode. And this is the 4th one where I'm really going to be talking, but this is the first time that we're actually starting out with the actual first idea itself, and I'm not having something covering it before. But yeah. So these are my top 5 Loud House ideas. These are some stuff that maybe would be cool ideas for me to see on the show, but they're just something that I think are good ideas that just come up in my mind. One of these I don't, actually 2 of these I don't think are that original, but I think the other 3 are pretty original, in my opinion. Coming in at number 5 is an episode that would be called Lenny Loud, Dumb Detective. Now, what would this episode be about? You could go either 2 ways. If you want to make it an 11-minute episode, which primarily I think this just belongs as an 11-minute episode, have it be something simple, like Lenny rips her dress. Somebody rips Lenny's dress, or somebody steals her fashion magazine or something, and then she has to go on this huge mystery case to find the culprit that basically stole her fashion magazine or something. You could have some really dumb and stupid moments what was that idea I had? It was a really good one. Just the way that Lenny would act in this episode would be hilarious. She's getting, furious at everyone, but in, a Patrick Star way. Did you steal my fashion magazine? And then she, comedically pins people upon the wall and says, did you do it? And you could have a funny interrogation scene with, one of the characters, and just Lenny is the perfect character to get a detective story in the Loud House, and that's why it's the only single Lenny episode of my idea. But coming in at number 5 was Lenny Loud, Dumb Detective. Coming in as my number 4 is See Link Run. Now, this would definitely be a 22-minute special. What this episode would be about, this might possibly actually be a 1-hour special, a TV movie. Because Lincoln runs away, as you could guess. But it's because he can't take his 10 sisters no more, and decides to run away and basically find a new, smaller family, basically. Maybe he tells the McBrides not to tell the Louds that he's with them or something. But it's all because the sisters did something really bad to him that day. Think of a combination of Have You Seen This Snail and Who Bob What Pants. Who Bob What Pants is going to be at the beginning, when he does something to piss all 10 of his sisters off, and then they're going to basically all yell at him, combined with some of them even crying for what he did, and yeah. But then, after Lincoln feels so bad for what he did, he runs away. And then the sisters realize after a while he's gone, and they are devastated. All 10 of them are bawling their eyes out, feeling so much guilt that their brother that they may never see again. But of course, by the end of the episode, they find him and they apologize, and it's this sweet story. And I think See Link Run could be a really emotional episode of The Loud House, and it would work perfectly, and that's why it is my number 4 Loud House Idea episode. Coming in at number 3 is Don't Clown Around. Now, what this episode could be about is Luann finds out that one of the Loud siblings is afraid of clowns. Let's say it's one of the tough ones, like, we'll give Lynn, for example. Lynn's not really afraid of anything, but we find out that Lynn is actually afraid of clowns. So, Luann tries to torment her all day, basically doing all these clown tricks, and trying to scare her in as many ways as possible, but after that, they try to find out Luann's biggest fear for the ending of the episode, and they try to torment her and scare her like that. I don't know. I just think that is a great premise for an episode. Something about clowns, and Luann is perfect for clowns, and she's a comedian and owns her own funny business. She could get stuff from the funny business to make the clown props. This episode just explains itself. It's a really good idea, and it would only be 11 minutes. Absolutely just 11 minutes. You couldn't extend this to a half an hour, but most of these are actually kind of could work as 22-minute specials. This is the only one I guarantee could not make a 22-minute special. I think the other 4 kind of could, but this one definitely cannot. But it still would be a great episode, and that's why Don't Clown Around is my number 3 Loud House idea. Coming in at number 2, Oh, Canada, my own. I ain't a stalker or anything, but do you guys realize how close, according to what the series is telling me, do you guys know how close the Louds live to the Canadian border? Like 2 hours or something. So, why don't, kind of my inspiration from Rugrats in Paris, the movie, which I think that's personally a mediocre show, but the Loud House is, like I said, one of the best shows this decade. But why don't you have the Louds go on vacation to Canada and all sorts of crazy adventures happen? Like, I don't know, maybe they go to like a national park up there and there's no cell service, which pisses off Lori. Lenny meets a Canadian boy, which she wants to date. Wink, 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 wink. See? Because I'm Canadian. And that's a fun fact for you guys. I'm a Canadian, and I kind of have a small crush on Lenny Loud. I'll admit it. It's kind of big. I don't know. I have a crush on Lenny Loud, is my point, and I'm not afraid to admit it. But that would be a good idea. She meets a Canadian boy, and basically they sort of hit it off, but by the end of the episode, they break up because they're going to be leaving each other. Either that or they don't break up, and they're just going to be in long distance. So, Lenny's going to have a Bobby now, basically, after this episode. And they even take Clyde along with them, and Lincoln and Clyde are sort of going to go on the ultimate roughing it. Like, a whole hour-long roughing it adventure. Like, they're going to be doing all sorts of woodland adventures, and maybe they'll travel to the cities like Montreal and Toronto in a couple of scenes, but I think most of this episode should take place in the great Canadian outdoors, and Canada is just the perfect place, in my opinion, for the Louds to go on an adventure, and that's why it's my number 2. But what do you think number 1 is? Honestly, this is not an original idea, but this would be a perfect crossover episode. My number 1 Loud House idea is, well, that's the thumbnail, spoiler alert. SpongeBob Loud Pants. So, this basically explains itself. Now, would I make this a Loud House or a SpongeBob episode? Personally, I would sort of make this... That's really tough. Honestly, maybe make this a Loud House episode. Because the Louds have never appeared on SpongeBob, but SpongeBob has appeared on the Loud House once or twice. Not as SpongeBob. He was on the TV in one of the episodes. I think it was the very first episode, actually. But have this be a Loud House episode where maybe, I don't know, the Louds, like, get magical bubbles to basically be able to breathe underwater. So while they're going to the beach, they travel down to Bikini Bottom and meet all of SpongeBob's characters. Like, SpongeBob and Lincoln will be like the partners in that episode. Lenny and Patrick will be partners in that episode, sort of. They, like, have all sorts of dumb and stupid moments, and Lenny tries to get Patrick into fashion, but Patrick just wants to wear green trunks, basically. And they sort of get into an argument about it, like that says. Lori and Squidward get together because they're both really obsessed with one thing and they're kind of grumpy. Lori being Bobby and Squidward being his clarinet, which... I kind of feel weird about Squidward's clarinet sometimes. I think he thinks of that clarinet a little too much, if you know what I mean. But, I don't know. Sandy and Lynn could do extreme sports together. Maybe have Lenny spend half the episode with Patrick, and then Lenny spends the other half of the episode with Pearl at the Bikini Bottom Mall. And she, like, adores it, and... This is just a self-explanatory episode. It could be the better version of the Family Guy Simpsons crossover. And that's why SpongeBob Loud Pants is my number one most wanted Loud House episode idea. So that's about it for today, guys. Let me know in the comments below, what's an idea for the Loud House you'd like to see? Like an episode idea. Leave that in the comments below, and... we're more than halfway done with the Loud House. We got 3 more episodes after this. This was originally supposed to be the final episode, but there's going to be 3 more Loud House month episodes. Best moments, worst moments, and the Family of Me, tribute, plus basically just at the end of that video, I'll do a closing out of Loud House month, like a conclusion to Loud House month. But that's about it. Gaming 2 here. See you later. Bye.